All right, welcome everyone to Into the Cypher State. This is the premier public broadcast of Galactica Network. My handle is citizen42.gala within the Cypher State, but you can always call me Dave. Today we'll be discussing the latest, greatest, and probably, and somewhat admittedly, sometimes the worst news from the crypto industry. I'm also looking forward to chatting with our main guest this evening, Mach Chain. We've also got a special co-host today who will be coming up very soon. But before we get into any of that, we'll just need to do a very quick disclaimer, guys. So it's very important to remember that myself, any co-hosts, and any team members that join us on the panel, we are your guides to navigating the Cypher State, but we are certainly not your financial advisors, and our guests' opinions are indeed their own. Nothing said in this space constitutes financial or investment advice, so just remember that. We're never going to give it out. So now we have that out of the way, let's go around the table and introduce ourselves. Today we have Petrix from Mach Chain with us. How you doing, my friend? How's it going?
I'm doing very good, and thank you for the quick disclaimer. That's very important, so you already did my part. Thank you very much. So I just reinforce your words. And it's a pleasure to be here. Galactica is an amazing project. I've been following thanks to your very famous and popular CMO. You have a superstar people on your team and the project and idea. It's fantastic. I'm very curious as well. I have a few questions, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
You are more than welcome, Petrix. More than welcome, and very thankful for the kind words. We actually also have my special co-host today, Jon. So Jon has been joining us, has recently joined the team, have been doing a few contributions towards our business development efforts, and he's been a massive benefit, and I think you're probably going to be seeing a lot more of him in the next few weeks. So Jon, how are you doing, man?
Hey guys, yeah, thanks for the warm intro. I'm excited to be here, excited to jump in. Yeah, just another crazy day in crypto. I feel like last week we thought it was crazy, and this week we have conspiracies and curve stuff, lots to cover. So excited to jump in to that as well as Mach Chain.
100%. Yeah, there's been an awful lot going on in crypto lately, an awful lot. So yeah, everyone just get comfortable. We've got a lot to go through. So I'll just invite anyone at the beginning, because I think it's a good idea to get people up at the start, just to give us options. So if you would like to speak on this show, if you would like to just have the opportunity to ask questions, and please just request to speak at this point, and we will allow you to speak basically when we've gone through the news section and when we're starting to talk to Mach Chain, I think. Or if there's any particular news item you would like to comment on, just put your hand up. But we're just going to be very well moderated on this one. So yeah, if you would like to put your opinions forward, please just request to speak, and we'll get you up as soon as we can. Besides that, I just want to give everyone a quick reminder to jump down into the comment section below, give us a like and a retweet on the space. It always helps get the space out to more people. And as you are well aware, a lot of you are going to be repeat listeners, and we try to educate on this show. We try our best. So yeah, if you can give us a like and a retweet, that will really help us now, and also get the recording out to more people. Right. So now we've got everyone here. We've got everyone introduced. Let's get the show on the road. So we'll start with the news section, as always, guys. We have quite a few things to go through. The first of which is the SEC apparently asked Coinbase to essentially delist all 200 of its listed cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin. This was before it got sued in the last few weeks. So that's an interesting claim. So essentially, Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, he claims kind of the conversation went down like this. He said that they came to us. They said that they believe that every asset other than Bitcoin is a security, as a start. And Brian responded with, how are you coming to that conclusion? because that's not the interpretation of the law that we recognize. And they essentially said that we're not going to explain it to you. You need to delist every asset other than Bitcoin. End of. Which is a fantastic stance. Coinbase has filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit that they received, arguing that the agency's application of securities laws to like certain digital tokens deviates from existing legal frameworks, essentially that there isn't really a legal framework right now. The case is ongoing. What does our panel think on this right now? We've got it's just the SEC doing its regulation by enforcement again, I guess. But it seems very extreme that they only recognize Bitcoin as anything other than a security.
Yeah, I can jump in. This was very strange. I mean, it was made a lot stranger by, I saw conflicting statements by Coinbase, the company. So I think like their legal counsel may have sort of had a heart attack once they saw those statements being made. But it's just another example of the SEC just trying to throw up as much obstruction as possible, and in the name of protecting retail, eternally grateful for them for protecting me as an American. But it's just not productive, right? It's just not productive at all. So unfortunately, this actually is more in the domain of our Congress, which is run by, I think, on average, people who are 60 years old. So I don't know. Hopefully some legislation passes that gives us some clarity. But I think, unfortunately, until it does, the SEC is just going to run around like a chicken with their head cut off with an agenda. So hoping it gets better, but not holding my breath per se.
It just seems so very directionless, right? Like they haven't got, like, it just seems that they're just trying everything and seeing what sticks to the wall. Petrix, I don't know if you have an opinion on this one, man.
Yes, 100% agree with Jon. First, nice to meet you, Jon. Glad to be here, to be sharing the stage here with you. And yes, I truly believe the same thing, because SEC has to throw the rocks at someone. And before was Bitcoin in general. Now Bitcoin seems to be out of the target, correct? So like we passed this phase of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not a security, it's not backed by any centralized company or person or CEO, is just an algorithm, so it's not the value or the intrinsic up or down value from Bitcoin doesn't come from the performance of the specific company, so it can become a security. So I think that they believe that everything else, which have a CEO, a company, and those tokens become a security, because based on the value, not on the utility. They don't understand the utility. But I think there's some barrier that you have to pass for the time. We just passed the barrier of Bitcoin, right? But my question is, what will the SEC do with the EDX markets exchange, with the Fidelity-backed, the Citadel security-backed exchange that they will offer Bitcoin, they will offer Ethereum, they will offer trade-offs on Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. So they will ask the EDX markets to delist all of them as well. A massive exchange that has been backed by the biggest hedge funds in the world. So I think that's just some smoke that will go out very soon.
Yeah, it's a super interesting thing that just following it is like, it's like watching a soap opera, and you've got like you've got the SEC, and you've got the second regulatory body in the US. I constantly forget the acronym for it. I apologize. Begins with a C. I'm sure you can probably correct me on that, Jon. But the point is that these two regulatory bodies, plus like the institutions, just battling it out for crypto's soul, while crypto is just jogging along and trying to actually prove that none of it is a security. Well, not none of it, but like a lot of these projects are not securities, just simply based on the Howey test, and based on the distribution, the governance structures, all of this stuff that ensures decentralization and a lack of like a centralized profit-making entity. So it's just crazy to me. It really is.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the CFTC, the Commodities and Future Trading Commission.
That's the one.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, but it's just a really crazy time. And then just not to get off topic, but the Ripple ruling that we were also excited about, or XRP, sorry, that we were also excited about, 2 weeks ago, today has a judge basically said, I don't know if I agree with this. So it's not like we even have case law to draw on and to point to. It's just so much noise. It's a very difficult time to be confidently building anything that requires regulatory clarity.
I think I think he missed the pump, probably, right? He saw that he pumped almost 100%, so he can come public and say, I don't agree with it. And then, things will get a little bit more complicated out there, shake the ecosystem, and then you can buy the bottom again, because that's a game that they've been playing for years. And if Ripple won a case after proved so many things, and Ripple is a very centralized compared to all other projects, the other ones shall pass.
I can only just imagine. We got every higher up, every judge, every policymaker, and even the institutions that make up the government, all playing games with money that they've all got investments in. It's hilarious. Okay, well, besides that, let's just pop on to the next one. We've got Hex and Pulse Chain. I was actually in a space with these guys just earlier. Apparently the SEC has actually sued Richard Hart, who is real name Richard Schuler, who is the founder of Hex and Pulse Chain. Apparently, they're the same old story. They're allegedly selling unregistered securities. There's also a couple of additional charges against Hart himself. Apparently, he's been charged with defrauding investors by diverting at least $12 million of customer funds for personal purchases, including a McLaren sports car, a Ferrari, 5 watches, and all this is instead of using the funds for protocol development. I don't actually know that much about Hex. I was in a space with these guys just earlier, and I've got to say, the community seems very strong. They all seem to be rallying around this guy very, very strongly. I don't know if either of you guys know more about Hex or Pulse Chain than I do, but they just, like I say, all I can tell you is about the community.
Yeah, frankly, I don't know. I've been in the space long enough that you don't want to publicly speak bad about people, right? Because you never know who's going to come after you. That being said, I think this is going to be the easiest case that the SEC has ever brought against anybody in the history of the SEC. Every single week, he's posting extremely flashy purchases. In every interview, he's wearing the most ridiculous outfits, and he is explicitly citing how luxurious they are. This is exactly the type of person that the SEC just salivates over. And when I saw that he bought a massive diamond or whatever with customer funds, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I'm very interested and excited to see his legal defense, because in my limited understanding, his only possible legal defense could be that he was using those funds for marketing. However, the pretty simple counterpoint to that is that he is marketing a luxury lifestyle, which is heavily implying that anyone who buys it will be as wealthy as he is. Apparently he raised over $1 billion is one of the other parts of it, which is this dude's going to have multiple books thrown at him. So I frankly think that it is long overdue that the SEC is doing something. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, I saw some rumors actually today that other crypto influencers were deleting their Twitter accounts because they were worried about crypto crackdown from the SEC on influencers, marketing, all that stuff. So maybe this is the first domino. I think we'll have to see.
You mean just the number go up kind of people?
Well, not necessarily. So So people who got paid to shill things and didn't disclose that they were paid to do that, that's a really big one. I saw a lot of rumors around BitBoy, and I think that BitBoy has a very good legal team, but I also think that he made a lot of mistakes. Like we all have, but he's just made a lot more public mistakes. So we'll see, but it could be a very brutal crackdown, I think, from the SEC around influencers and marketing.
Honestly, I hope so. I hope so, John. I hate this. I hate to see people have a bad time, but there's like even at the bottom of the bear market. Boy, I hope it's the bottom of the bear market, I should say. Even at this point, we still have far too many people in this space who are dishonest, who are malign influences on the space, who aren't building for the people, who are building purely for selfish reasons. And in fact, I was just looking through this through the article again, and you're completely correct. Like the lawsuit is also saying, like the primary things that the lawsuit is saying is his claims of potential value increases, and its staking features, basically forcing its holders to lock their tokens for more tokens, that kind of shit. But and it's mostly just the value increase claims. But yeah, there's just too many bad actors in the space. Sorry, Petrix, you came off your mic. I overruled you.
No. All good, all good. I agree 100% with both of you saying, and then I think not saying that it would be an easy job for SEC, but this guy been showing off way more his lifestyle than the work that he should. And I mean, when you call attention, you call attention. They heard your call. So basically, you cannot be showing off a lifestyle, even for marketing, which is a completely fake. Many influencers, like you just said, thanks God, I hope they go after some bad influencers that don't influence our space well. They just profit for selfish reasons and then hide out in Dubai. We know a bunch of them, and I mean, I see here even on the news about this lawsuit is they're questioning the project, but what calls most attention is not about Pulse chain itself. It's more about the behavior of this guy. So uh, you have no like emotional responsibility or professional responsibility of your community, and the community is still behind it. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, honestly, from what you guys have just told me, and from what I've pieced together from this article, it sounds like just another personality cult, and there's far too many of those in crypto as well. A project shouldn't be about like a single personality, just flaunting a lifestyle choice. Crypto isn't really a lifestyle choice. It's a set of technologies that can transformative technologies, and it shouldn't be like diluted by these bad actors.
Yeah, and I think the cults of personality really, this is going to sound crude, but they don't exist if you haven't made money with the project, right? Like these cults of personality exist because they are such aggressive marketers and they do pump the price of tokens. And so people who are early make the money and then they post, oh, I made 1,000% on this investment. You should check this out also. And then when stuff goes sideways, they're like, oh, but I've made a lot of money with it and my ego and my identity are tied up in this. So I'm going to defend this person. And if they still have a lot of their net worth in the asset because they never took profits because they're long-term, believers or diamond hands or whatever, they're heavily, heavily incentivized to defend these people, even if they are proven bad actors. So it's a very unique set of incentives that we have in crypto, which is understandable why it turns off so many people who are not familiar with the space and people who are familiar with the space, frankly. But yeah, I think a lot of the cults of personalities just come from, unfortunately, the most aggressive marketers, because that's how you get ahead in the price action, is you promise people that the price will go up and then you make a ton of noise. And that is illegal, but your gamble is that you'll have enough money to defend yourself by the time the SEC basically brings charges, is how I understand that, risk reward situation. So it's not a good look for the industry.
No, no doubt. I was going to say, I mean, it's obviously wrong and almost always illegal, but it's just effective, isn't it? People rally behind people. So sorry, we actually have a new speaker on stage. Welcome, Oro Chain. We've got you back again, man. I'm glad to see you.
Hey, good to see you too. Yeah, I I had to jump in because I always look at Richard Hart. I look at him every day and I wonder, when is he going to go down? You know, what was really has been interesting has been watching sort of the evolution of thought leaders from the past. People like Andre Cronje, who were, you know, hardcore builders in the space, and like those were the personalities that really, I feel like, in the last sort of, you know, cycle, I guess we'll call it, were like really leading the charge and doing great things. And a lot, obviously, you know, that collapsed. A lot of things fell apart around that. And somewhere in the middle of all that, Richard Hart, you know, got in the mix and really was a big part of that too, and you know, has hung on, right? He didn't bow out or didn't disappear. He's rode, you know, Pulse and all that all the way to zero. So I'm happy to see that the SEC has taken some action to get rid of people like that. But I think that the bigger question really is, you know, it's a good question for all of us in the space, which is like, what is the value that we are delivering, right? A person like him who's selling a product that's based exclusively on price go up, get more tokens, APR, you know, lock your tokens with me and I promise something. I think that that sort of toxic conversation needs to end in this space overall, and we need to start thinking about how we get to consumers with real values, something that actually matters to them, that makes a difference in their real life, so that we can stop sort of resting on these, you know, these thought leaders to carry the space and like, you know, incite a big run or, you know, this promise of profit, right? And all that. It shouldn't be about that at all. Like if somebody buys your coin, fine, but do they use your product? Let's count the monthly active users, right? So yeah.
100%, man. I couldn't agree with you more on any of that. Like this is one of the reasons why we exist, to be honest, because you know we see a need for blockchain to have true utility, and we see that utility is less financial and more social. And I can pretty much guarantee you that Petrix will agree with me on that one from Mach Chain. They're building a social graph, and we're going to be chatting with them an awful lot about this in a few minutes' time. But yeah, it's ridiculous just the amount of like bad actors and financial decision making, having a malign influence on this space. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and one of the things sorry, Petrix. Yeah, go ahead, Petrix.
No, please. I go after. Don't worry.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, you know, one of the things that, you know, I've been in this space for a little over 6 years now, and one of the things that it took me a really long time to understand was what the product these people were selling. You know, what's the service? Why do people pay their attention and their money to these people, and what are they receiving? And I was also wondering the same thing about lottery tickets. And so you know, somebody said to me in a sort of offhand comment, they were like, well, you buy a lottery ticket not because you think you're going to win $1 billion, but because it gives you that 15 minutes of imagination, of a mental vacation. And it's the service is not the receipt of the money, it's the imagination of what you would do with the money, how your life would change, this incredible alternative reality that would suddenly materialize. And it's so similar with these marketers that are pushing this narrative that, look, I got rich, you too can get rich, like change your life with this. And you know, that's really all it is that they're selling the idea of financial independence because of a sudden windfall or appreciation of value. And they didn't have to deliver utility because the utility was that idea. And enough people, I feel like, have been burned, and enough people have stuck around and contributed to meaningful projects and learned to actually identify real issues other than just people being bored or poor, which is common for a lot of us, especially at this point in the bear market. And now they're able to, implement tech in a modular way, in a composable way to build real solutions that have real utility and real value. But I do think that's the exciting thing about what I understand the next bull market to be, is that we have actual adoption. Like, it's not just, there's still a ton of gambling on chain. Like, that's obviously going to be one of the favorite things of all time, I assume. But there are actual businesses, there are actual services, there are actual utilities. So I'm always bullish because, now we have actual use cases, and that's where real economies can be built instead of just online casinos.
100%. And hot take, very hot take. Blockchain is not about financial freedom. It is just about freedom. Petrix, please continue.
Yes, like just keeping on the same point that you were talking before, Mach Chain as well, and Jon, it's like that's one of the main reasons why I'm behind Mach Chain right now as the CSO, Chief Strategy Officer. I've been in the space for roughly 7 years. I've been seeing it all, like all of you as well. All good guys, bad guys, scammers, not scammers. I came from the investment side as well, as a lead VC behind investing in around 200 projects, and then I decided after everything what I saw in the past cycle that we need a better space, better players, better infrastructure, and we need to make it simple for everyone, because the players that I have now, it's exactly like the lottery ticket that you said. Crypto give you hope to a lot of people to make easy money, to build this, to build that, and then also they achieve it. Like, why I will continue if I already did my thing? I can buy my McLaren, and why should I deliver something, So that's why on the project that we are running right now, Mach Chain, we are totally focused first on the product, deliver, prove the concept, and then after go with the massive hype, but with the proof of concept there, because what are you offering? Something exists, because it's really easy to hire the best studio video in the world, create the best video, 1-2 minutes, like take I don't know, Hollywood, Warner Bros to do your explanatory video, and then sell your idea. Then after you raise $30 million, you can build any dream, any idea. But what you proved before, right? Nobody want to prove the concept first, want to come with a beta, and then raise the rest. They all want to raise a lot of money and then go away. So we need the infrastructure, we need the real players, we need we need the regulation a little bit as well. I truly believe this, and it's important to put a limit and to have some filter.
Couldn't agree more, man. We need to have real builders. I think. Sorry, Ora, please, if you can make it quick, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm just seeing Mach Chain for the first time, and your branding is on point. And I'm going through your website, and I love it, and it's just so fire. I'm really excited to learn more about what you're doing. So looking forward to connecting in the future. Are you guys going to be your own sovereign L1? Is that what I'm seeing here?
Amazing, thank you so much. Yeah, we are blockchain layer 1, but we don't compete against any other chain. Our main goal is to combine and to put together all the chains, because like end users, we can talk later more about Match, but end users shouldn't care if your app is built on Java or Python or whatever. They just want to use the application, so they shouldn't care if it's Match or Solana or whatever, right? So this is our main goal, to make crypto easier for Web2 users, for everyone, and to put everyone in one single place with easy, friendly platform.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I see we've got a lot more people who have joined us since we last did a bit of a CTA. So guys, if you could please do us the favor, if you're enjoying the content, if you're liking the conversation up here, just jump down into the comments section, give us a like and a retweet on the space. It will really help us out, get more people in here, more people educated. This is an educational space. We're trying to get as much information out to people as possible, with the likes of Petrix from Mach Chain, with Jon, with Aura Chain. all very massively intelligent people who have got a lot of good information to give out. So make sure you hit that like and retweet. You've also got the option, if you wish, just if you wish, there's a pinned tweet at the top for Galactica's Cypher State campaign. All you need to do is just join our Discord. So follow that tweet, join our Discord, and you'll have the opportunity to earn a Galactica Network citizenship early and for no money at all. There's no money transfers here. This is all just social capital. You just need to do a few social tasks through ZB quests, and you'll rank up your reputation, get your ranks up, and then you'll get your Galactica Network citizenship that way. Okay, guys. So what we're just going to do, we're going to very quickly just rush through this next very quick topic, because it's kind of in the same vein as this one, to be honest. But it's an important metric that everyone should always be aware of anyway. So apparently in July, just this July on its own, crypto hacks and exploits have cost traders in the Web3 space $303 million, which is indeed the worst month of 2023. So this is from Certic. I'm sure you guys are all aware of the security audit firm Certic. And it's just digital assets and from cyber exploits, hacker attacks, that kind of thing. And bridge exploits seem to make up the most of it. So yeah, it's interoperability is one of the most important things in Web3, in my opinion. But it also comes with risks, and we need to be careful. So yeah.
100%. That's why we're here. We believe that the future is not cross-chain, is interoperability, but we need to be careful as well, because so far it's not a 100% possible way to be interoperable without a bridge. But there's many ways to make this way safer. And that's what inspired us behind Match. Was basically from one of the statements from Vitalik years ago, that he said that he don't believe in cross-chain, he don't believe in bridges, and then the future should be interoperable. Even if you know what that means, right? We still have to sacrifice few things. And yes, July was 303 million worth of digital asset cryptocurrency exploits, but I think this is the beauty of blockchain, to be honest, because we can count it. We can see it, right? I can assure you that only in South America, more than 303 million in July of ATM machines was stolen. That's for sure. Only in Brazil, more probably in Colombia. So we cannot count the physical assets or physical paper, but in crypto we can. So we have those extraordinary numbers because it's transparent, So it's awful, not good news. But it's transparent, So I try to see to the good points. We're still very young, very very early, a lot to mature, and I believe that in the future we'll find ways to eliminate or to minimize the max as possible of these exploits.
Man, great take, dude. Great take. And like for anyone in this room who is even remotely swayed by any of the arguments made by traditional finance or government institutions that blockchain is full of fraud, 303 million or whatever the figure was, that's a sneeze. That's as a percentage, both as a percentage and an absolute amount. That's nothing compared to the traditional finance world at all. Like even just the transparent, like as Petrix said, like just we know exactly what's going on chain. Even just the transparent reports that we have put the percentage is much higher in traditional finance for fraud than in blockchain. So it's just incredible that we've got such transparency, and it's one of the main reasons that I love this space. I think what we're going to do now, guys, is we are going to move on to the section of the show where we get to have some great Q&A with Petrix and Mach Chain. So I'm really looking forward to this because I've looked through their website, and like Chain said, we've got a good one on our hands. So I'm really looking forward to it. Just a quick reminder, guys, please give us a like and a retweet on the space. This is going to be a really good AMA, so I'm looking forward to it. You ready, Petrix?
I think so. I'll try my best, promise.
I know you will, man. I know you will. Right. Let's see. So, actually, for just to start off with, let's start like at the beginning. What's your background, Petrix? Who are you, and kind of what kind of inspired you and your team to build Mach Chain?
Let's go, let's go. Also, I would like I see some familiar faces over here. I'd like to say thank you for this. I'm very honored to see a lot of people over here in this chat, but I see like the head of Binance in Portugal here, my friend from Faculty Group, my friend Max as well, one of the best researchers I saw. So a lot of familiar faces online over here. I would like to say thank you for your presence here. My background, I've been crypto around 6, 7 years. But I've been, to be honest, before a professional athlete, Olympic gymnast for 20 years, roughly 22 years. That's my background. But when you are a professional athlete, living like training 8, 7 hours a day, you build some kind of resilience and some kind of adrenaline level that is hard to keep up after you quit the sport. But you always have to have the commitment between good education, scholarships, sport, and good titles in sport in the field, but also good grades in school. So I always have the opportunity to have the best scholarships in universities and schools. I graduated in economics, BSc on LSE, London School of Economics and Political Science. And I've been involved in cryptos since 2016 after the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. I moved to Miami and then I figured out that I had to do something with my savings, right? What I will do, because when you convert my the currency from my country to dollar, that doesn't mean much. And I need to find my system that would bring me, that would allow me to keep doing sport and, making money. So that was the beginning of the bull run in 2017. I start to research, invest, get into my people, into my network. So that's when I invested in my first projects. My first ICOs was Mach Chain, Reserve, and a few others. And then since then, I never left.
That is the way, man. Never ever leave, dude. But yeah, it's I do love someone who actually like properly applies themselves to everything in their lives, not just a single facet, but just everything they do. That's it's very impressive and it's very noble. So yeah, how about like Mach Chain itself? Can you like give us like what kind of like inspired you to actually build Mach Chain as like a social graph?
Of course, of course. So basically, I am the CSO, the Chief Strategy Officer of Mach Chain. We are layer one social graph, as you just said. I'm not the inspiration behind. I've been in the company roughly 9 months. So the co-founders, the inspiration from the co-founders was exactly what I was mentioning. One of the inspiration came from one of the Vitalik quotes that the future is interoperability and no cross chain. So we need to build the right infrastructure in crypto and all those Web3 applications, which is like have such a difficult nomenclature for everything. And crypto, to be honest, has an ugly nomenclature in everything, like NFT. What is nobody knows is an NFT. And even when you translate it to non-fungible tokens, it's still like ugly, right? So it's difficult for the normal person, like, non-fungible tokens, crypto, scalability. So we figure out that we need to stop this island dilemma between every single chain that fighting, come to my island, build over here, open your business, procreate, bring the community because we are better than the other one. Like we believe the technologies should not compete against each other. Layer one should not compete. Like they will compete either way against each other because projects will choose which one fits better with their purpose, correct? But what we do on Match, our inspiration is to combine every single one in one platform. So the end user doesn't care which platform, which chain we use, we just use the application. And this way, users can seamless run between one chain to other, one application to other, switch from BSC to the Solana application, to the Rust, to the Move EVM, to the EVM compatible. But he doesn't know because it's like when you pass your credit card, you don't know how they are being paid, but it's working, right? So basically, it's to make crypto simple and easy for everyone and create the next infrastructure for the next cycle.
I'm looking forward to actually like I can't wait for the time where we have protocols like Match, where we have protocols like Galactica, and like we have stuff like Aura Chain, where we can actually have users just actually using the tech rather than just chasing gains. I genuinely can't wait. I'm not sure if it's going to be this bull run, but it will definitely be, within the next few years. I just want to see it. One of the things actually you brought up there was there was a lot on interoperability there. I assume one of the reasons you wanted to build on Cosmos was because of the IBC. And that's actually one of the reasons why we as Galactica Network decided to build on it, was because of its track record with a lack of hacks and exploits, compared to the news article we actually just went through. Was that one of the things that you took into account when you started building on Cosmos?
100%, 100%, and that's why I like Galactica as well. So we are in the same page over here. We use Cosmos Standard Link in our SDK, and we use our proprietary technology for the ZK rollup, for the DAB system, which is amazing for the decentralized identity. And we truly believe that Cosmos has a good technology, but we can make it better, and we can combine what we learned, what our tech chain built before, and all the experience to literally prove the concept, check that it works, check the scalability, check all the safety and security, and put all the projects together in one place. I understand that crypto is still very complicated for everyone, and we shouldn't make it complicated. And then if you have different phones, like I used to say that we chose Cosmos because Cosmos could be one Apple Store and Google Play combined with one name, like if it's Apple Play, for example. And that's what Match aims to be in the future, one layer for every single Web3 application.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I got two things I just want to bring up just before we move on, Petrix. Firstly, I don't know if you're speaking very close to your microphone or not, but it seems a bit maybe like you're speaking either right on the edge of your microphone or something like that. It seems very loud and very kind of muffled, maybe. So I don't know if you want to check your microphone. I don't know if you can do anything about that. If not, then don't worry. It can hear you because I can still hear you. And secondly, guys, if you would like to actually ask a question of Petrix and Mach Chain, then please feel free to either do so in the comments or you can request to speak. We're more than happy to have you up to speak at this point to ask questions for Mach Chain or anyone else up on the speaker panel for that matter. Please just give us a request and you're welcome to come up. Okay, Petrix, I don't know if you've done anything about the microphone, but like I say, you're more than legible anyway. So if you are ready for the next question, we'll go on, or?
Yes, we can go on. I had my earphone. Maybe the microphone is powerful, or maybe the room has too much echo. I don't know, but I switch now. I don't know if it's better. You let me know.
It's certainly a lot more clear, but it's a bit quieter. I don't know if you can go just a touch louder, and you'll be absolutely dead perfect.
Perfect. We move on.
Cool. No worries. Okay, so you just kind of touched on one of the big topics that we both have in common as projects, digital identity. So I'm really, really curious and would be absolutely thrilled to hear how you actually incorporate digital identity, what the kind of user experience for digital identity is on Match, just anything to do with it, to be honest, if you can give us some information.
Yes, our decentralized identity, it's a proprietary technology, but it's like open source. We have our Gitbook. It's welcome, very welcome actually to use our system and implement on your own project. You can build projects on top of Match. You can use our DID system on our technology, and we verified every single user after they decided to be verified. So basically, when you join Mach Chain or when you download one of our wallets, our native wallet, you don't need to save those 12 words. You can just register with your regular email, but if you want to take advantage of the wallet, you have to go through some process on validating your phone and etc. And then step by step, you decide which kind of information you want to reveal it. You can create a different numerous, like thousands of wallets inside of the same app, but you will still be verified as one user for the application. So if that game have 1,000 users or 50,000 users, It doesn't mean that one user have 10 accounts or 20 accounts. He's really verified as one user on our system. But you can still choose what kind of information we reveal. So if a project or if a user want to know something about it, he will ask for you about that information. You release the information or not, compensation or not, even can be your diploma for your university, can be anything. Basically our DID will work as your Google, your Gmail for Web3. Once you sign up with Match, once you sign up on our wallet and you have our DID, you can get into any application because we're full interoperable, compatible with any chain.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah. So how is the privacy achieved? Is this is a match based on zero knowledge technology, or what's the baseline here?
Yes, we use ZK rollup technology, but we use also first matches based on proof of stake, but it's not a normal proof of stake, it's a stochastic proof of stake. We use a ZK rollup, but everything is a proprietary technology. The CTO can explain it much better, to be honest. Every single step. I'm not the tech guy. I'm the business and the strategy officer that they see the vision for the company, also understand everything.
I got you, Patrick.
But we definitely use ZK rollup for everything.
I got you. No worries. No, I was just curious if on what you were basing your technology on. But for as far as like a more like fundamental question, I guess, what are you like? What are the main goals for having such a social graph? Like just in your own words. So what are you actually trying to achieve by bringing people like verified identities on chain?
Basically, like I said, we want to make crypto simple, okay, for everyone. So let me start with a simple analogy. You can imagine, not that this is the main goal, but this is the starting goal, and the main goal is to literally to become the infrastructure layer, like, or the AWS for crypto in general, because we are not here to compete against any other chain. We want to bring users. So for example, we can, if you have a traffic of 10 million users on our platform, any Solana project would like to sign up and join our hub without leave the Solana chain because they like Solana chain for whatever reason, right? We can use an analogy for people to understand because we need to make crypto simple, right? When you think about crypto hub or match hub, it's still complicated. But if you think about Netflix, right? Everyone join Netflix. Everyone have a subscription on Netflix, and you need some monthly payment or some minimum amount of tokens to join, right? The Netflix hub, for example, which will be the match hub. Also, you join the Netflix, you're gonna find all the movies that is available over there. You have movies from Warner Bros, from DC Comics, from Marvel, right? But you still have Netflix originals. That will happen the same thing with us. We're gonna have all projects from BSC, from other chains. We can combine projects from a certain chain, can use the technology from the other one, right? And we're still gonna have match originals. So the traffic from that successful project on BSC suddenly will smoothly, or the user will have a chance to play or to watch or to stake or to DeFi on the same platform in a different chain, but using one gas token as a gas fee, which is match chain, which is match token, right? Match will do all the interaction for all the other tokens in the backend, but then the user shouldn't care for that.
100%. Yeah. Sorry, Petrix, can you turn off your mic? Thanks. I think there's the user experience is the primary like failure in blockchain right now, and it sounds like you're making quite a lot of headway into trying to achieve this. This seems like one of your primary goals, which is absolutely fantastic. All right, you seem to have something to say, please.
Yeah, no, just I guess a question for both of you guys. But Petrix, I'll let you answer it. This past week we've seen, I think, a lot in the Cosmos world. We've seen a lot of sort of stirring up with some sort of recent comments from leaders in Cosmos saying that if we don't figure out our onboarding workflow in the next 18 months, then Cosmos is dead, right? It's kind of like a little bit inflammatory the way that was said, but I think that it really draws down to a really important issue, and I'm just wondering how Mach Chain is planning on solving the onboarding problem to make it frictionless and get users directly to your value proposition rather than having to sort of dance through a bunch of highly technical steps.
Yeah, we are not. Thank you for your question, buddy, and then thank you so much for the kind of words, and appreciate what you saw so far on our website, and I would be glad to have a more conversation and brainstorm, and maybe even make a match even better with your ideas or combine some of our projects. Okay. Also, our goal is not like to take all their users from BSC chain or from Solana and bring it over to Match. They are welcome over here, but we want to onboard all the Web2 users. So basically, we have a lot of Web2 protocols, projects, regular apps that you use, that you play games on, that you play game or meditate or whatever, that you already use on your app. We have on our pipeline that will onboard on our hub as soon as we are live. So basically, they will transition from Web 2 into Web 3 in a very smoothly, seamless way that any developer from Web 2 will read the book and will learn how to integrate into crypto, into Web 3. But that doesn't mean that they need a token. They can just gamify the experience of their application in Web 3. So basically, if a meditation app will come, and this meditation app already have like 10 million users, 5 million users, if you make like 1 week of full of meditation, you have this NFT, and this NFT will give you A, B, C, D benefit, right? But suddenly those 10 million users from the meditation application will meet all the other Web3 applications that came from different chains on the hub, right? So we're just onboarding millions and millions and millions from Web2. So our focus is the end user, and the Web2 application shouldn't care about much the crypto side. They should understand the benefits, the technology, because it's like when Ethereum was created or whatever, crypto in general. Nobody thought before 3-4 years ago about NFT, and now we came with the NFT idea. And if an NFT is not just a picture of a monkey, right? NFT can be a house, NFT can be an asset, NFT can be anything, right? Can be the validation of or the certificate of million things or thousands of use cases. It's the same thing with Match. So we want to build the infrastructure and let the people come and bring the ideas and see the technology that will bring to them, and they will create amazing things in the future that I'm not even creative enough to say now what they will do it. So yeah.
I love that though. That's a great sentiment, and like it's one of the main things that annoys me about people trying to onboard people from Web 2 to Web 3 is that they do it in like they teach them about tokens, they teach them about all this all these financial incentives and stuff, and that's that's not exactly as you say. It's not like the primary value that you can get from blockchain. Like for Web 2 companies, they're not going to come here if all that's on offer is just the tokenization and the ability to monetize things, monetize their users and all that kind of thing. The best way of actually getting people from Web 2 to Web 3 is by having verified people on chain, because funnily enough, blockchain is not just good for its best use cases. Some of its best use cases are on the social rather than the financial side. Like having a verifiable identity on chain allows you to do so much more than just having having a financial asset. Petrix was saying, that an NFT can represent a lot of things, and in some circumstances, like an NFT or some kind of or a zero knowledge derivative thereof, as is the case with I think perhaps with Match. I won't speak for you, Petrix, but with Galactica, you can have a zero knowledge certificate, which is essentially a soulbound NFT, which you can selectively disclose your information. in a very similar kind of manner as Petrix was describing earlier, I believe, so that you can like use your identity on chain and actually have these social interactions. You can have a company you could have a company on chain. You could have that allows you to have like reputation-based rewards rather than financial-based rewards. You can have so much more going on that it's absolutely mind-blowing the amount of new use cases that come on from blockchain when you have the social side of humanity on chain. So yeah, I'm sorry, Petrix, please go.
No, sorry, I was too hard on the button. I'm sorry. But yes, totally, you're completely right. We could even just example over here, just brainstorming. We could implement Galactica inside the Match Hub, the Match Chain. So projects from Web 2, right, that needs a verification, that want a real users, new users that be verified and onboarded, they could use the Galactica technology combined with our DID, and then you see this project have the Galactica certificate or the Galactica badge. So there's a lot of things that you can combine together inside the hub, inside the platform, and make this space safer. Because like I said, we have to discomplicate, I don't even know the word proper in English, or uncomplicate crypto for the end user, for the Web2 users. So like they will not, once they come to the platform, they will not have to buy tokens as a gas fee. Who will buy the tokens for the gas fees and cover the gas fees is the project owner. So for example, like the CEO of Headspace, they will suddenly onboard into Web3. He will pay 60% of the tokens, of the gas fees tokens ahead, for the users. And if a certain percentage of the users update the app and join the hub, simply updating, we will pay back all the gas fees to the user, or to the project owner, so that he can distribute and fill it up in every single wallet. But what that means, they just log in, we just verify the wallet, and we have like millions and millions of users with money power, like with a PayPal account in front of a mall, of a shopping mall with a bunch of stores in front of you, and then they decide what they do, if they will put cash there, if they will not put cash over there, if they will just store their benefits because they will collect rewards. You suddenly will send rewards. That application will send this NFT, the other application will send another reward. So wow, I can convert this into real money, so you're onboarding people without they feel they are being onboarded.
That's great, man. Yep. I mean, I think one of the things I see with Web3 in general, and just trying to get like all these people who are clearly, like, most people have no idea and probably will never have much of an idea of how to be like a self-sovereign kind of individual, who like owns their own assets, who like just understands the concepts of owning your own assets and your own data. But they like most of the people who don't get that concept are gonna just want like something that looks like a normal website that has nothing to do with Web3, nothing at all. They're gonna want something where the actual underlying infrastructure and the use cases on it speak for themselves. For instance, like one of the things that I see with our protocol in particular is you could have just any number of basic dApps that wouldn't look like Web3 dApps to most people. However, your accounts on those interconnected dApps would all make use of Galactica's reputation layer. So you could have the reputation infrastructure behind the scenes, and that your reputation that you earn on Galactica Network, in whatever field you wish to earn reputation in. They're user defined, so it can be almost anything. Is completely interoperable between any dApp you want to think of. So that's the kind of thing that Web2 users might actually find interesting and compelling and useful. Is this ability to have like a global reputation layer through having things like DID on chain. So yeah, there's so much more we can do. Jon, you seem to have come off.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I saw that we had in our notes, that I thought was a good question was, asking, so how would you, and I think it dovetails really nicely with this, which was like, how do you explain this to, and we actually used the term muggle, which I thought was great because, as anyone knows from Harry Potter, a muggle is a non-magical person. So for crypto, that would be a non-crypto native. That's a great term. I think I'm actually going to start using that. But the main idea is that, how can you understand how this works? And I think the on-chain reputation is one thing, but I think the other thing is that it's a data aggregator, right? Like there's a ton of data, there's a ton of applications, there's a ton of value strewn across all the various blockchains. And Petrix, correct me if I get this slightly wrong, but I think a good way to think about this is how there used to be just the airline carriers. For you go there, you buy a plane ticket, and then you get on the plane and you go. But then there were things like in the States, like Kayak or other Priceline or other price aggregators for tickets. And then Google basically stepped in and said, you know what? We're just going to do flights.google.com, and you don't even have to go to the aggregators. You don't have to go to the service providers. We will just aggregate all the data for you, and we will provide you with one seamless interaction with what you want, which is just getting the plane ticket so you can go to where you go. You don't really care what type of plane you're flying. You don't really care what airline it is. You don't really care what website you went to. All you care is about the service of being able to get, from one place to another. And I think that this dovetails really well with decentralized identity and reputation, because at the end of the day, you only are okay with doing that and going through Google because you trust each of the sources of data equally, right? We believe that if we were to buy a plane ticket from Google, flights.google.com, it's the same as if we did Travelocity. It's the same as if we did Delta or whatever. But online, we don't in Web3, we don't necessarily have that level of trust yet. And so a decentralized identity is not only a person, but it can also be a company. It can be a smart contract. It can be a wallet address where you don't know if it's an AI or a person, but you do need ways to establish that trust. And I think that's a really good way of thinking about how Mach Chain and Galactica could be combined to provide a seamless and excellent and, most importantly, trusted user experience for a variety of goods and services, because we don't have the benefit of having the past 100 years of the airline industry and brands and stuff, and we're doing a lot of this from scratch. So I hope that made sense. Petrix, feel free to correct me or ridicule me if that was far off, but I just thought of it and I wanted to put that out there because it helped me understand a bit of it, and I thought it was a useful point.
Love it, John. Love it. Like, and you're not wrong. This is just another great analogy, and it's good that using the airlines example because, like, was it like 6 months ago, I was talking with the vice president of British, and how they would love to make the membership, the miles plan and other things back and better for the experience via using blockchain or NFTs, and we came up with a bunch of ideas while drinking beers and having fun, and that's one of the things that keep inspiring me to keep moving on Match, because we want to make this experience completely seamless and completely easy for the end user regardless. So basically our DID system, we still have on case of Galactica, if I'm not mistaken, please correct if I'm wrong, is a RRC, correct, the reputation system. We have the credit score system on our DID as well. So people wants to build the score, they want to grow up, they want to build the reputation or score, whatever you call, inside your identity. And different application requires different kind of level of information, requires different kind of level of data that they want to know about you. If you just want to play that simple game that is the Temple Run game, which is very popular, imagine that game in Web3. We onboard all those users, into Web3, would be fantastic. They don't need much information about you, correct? But imagine if you're buying a flight ticket, and once you surpass a certain level of DID, and you are verified, and like only that company for that specific thing will get the information that is required, and then you can go and move ahead. But other ones don't, right? You need to give authorization. So it's exactly what our host was saying, is that people don't still understand the power of to have the sovereignty of your own information, of your own data, right? Protect your own life, right? And decide for which one you are requiring, you are selling it to, which one you are telling it. Because when you open your information out to threads or to Instagram, they can sell everything what they know about you, what they hear about you on Google, and sell to other companies to penetrate your mind, your phone, and persuade you to buy other things, right? So the ID system, Galactica system is fantastic as well. So like, I believe the future is on infrastructure, and infrastructure must be simple, and the language must be simple, the platform must be simple, and anyone should be able to use.
Man, that was pure fire, Petrix. I loved it. So yeah, I can't do much more than agree. But also, like it's just to reinforce the point for everyone listening. Firstly, in fact, for everyone listening, if you haven't already liked and retweeted the space, then I'm disappointed in you, and you should be ashamed of yourself, and you should go and do that right now. I'm just kidding. Don't be ashamed of yourself. Never be that. But please do like and retweet the space. Other than that, it's incredibly important that even Web3 natives, even the people, even the biggest blockchain, even the biggest Bitcoin maxis, well, everyone, I don't think really understands the difference or the importance of self-sovereign control of not just your assets, but your data, as Petrix was just saying there. It's so important that it's like it's a fundamental thing that you've got to understand going into this new age of like you're going to be sharing a digital space very soon with artificial identities, which will have very human-like characteristics and will have abilities far beyond your own in some fields, in very specific fields. It's going to be so very important that you have your own data self-sovereignly held and self-sovereignly controlled. Otherwise, you're just going to be data scraped for everything you have, and your identity will simply be lost in amongst a sea of both humans and artificial identities scrabbling for any sense of I don't know, of attention, I suppose. So it's such an important concept, and I don't know if it's been brought up on enough spaces or just been brought up enough in general. But yes, you need to be able to self-sovereignly hold your data, and at the very least, self-sovereignly control it. So through technology such as zero knowledge and the ability to selectively disclose your data, such as the kind of abilities that you have on both Mach Chain and on Galactica Network. These are the kind of things that actually give you the opportunity to remain as a self-sovereign human in the coming artificial and quantum ages that we're just taking baby steps into right now. I just want to give the opportunity for anyone on the panel to just respond, or if they have any more points on these matters right now.
Yeah, I guess just for a quick second, I love the idea. I think that in this moment, you know, when we talk about sort of
just sorry, seconds. All right, I think you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's your connection or what.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, you're much clearer now.
All right. Yeah, so I think Petrix brought this up a few minutes ago, but the idea that we're aggregating these D-apps and these experiences from a variety of different chains is definitely a part of the issue, but also dealing with sort of these gas fees, right? And like the actual nuts and bolts of like, how do you interact with these applications if a token is required or if every transaction is on chain? I feel like that's something that we haven't completely solved yet. And, you know, along with sort of DID is also going to be this idea that we're going to need a way to onboard people into the space really directly, like credit card, cash. How do you get in there and just be able to sort of use, right? So when we talk about aggregating an airline, all of the airline carriers, that's great, but all of the airline carriers take dollars, right? So they take your Visa card. So it's a little bit of a different challenge when you begin to aggregate DApps from a variety of chains and a variety of languages. So, I think that it's definitely solvable, but I haven't heard too many people come up with a great solution for that. So I'd love to hear if either Galactica or Mach Chain have any ideas on how that particular issue can be solved.
Well, or go on, Petrix, please.
Yeah, thanks. So, definitely, you're completely right. Again, it's still people very complicated for the normal user, from the non-crypto guy to buy a token and pay the gas fees, and we should definitely still use on and off ramp solution in the platforms. So we are thinking about that. But what we really want is the apps, applications, the one that are building, the one that are responsible for development, and the CEOs of each company to take care of this. They must understand just simple the basics, or even the cash, and we make the conversion. So basically, if companies take dollars, they will take MUSDT, the match USDT. So that will be on our chain. So the same thing, or the MUSD, basically, right? Because like anything can be created inside the chain and be validated later and cash out. So it's just a matter of education and getting used to it. But we see that Twitter is getting used to it. Elon Musk is coming with something special for sure. It's something that it's, in my opinion, we can avoid it anymore. You understand? This change and these things will come no matter what, and people don't have many options, right? And I believe that everything, ever better thing happens on the second and the third wave. Like social media, we have MySpace, we had the ICQ, we had I don't know, Plato, right? They worked well. People understand the concept. It took a long time for them to understand, but yeah, you could talk and find friends. But then came Facebook and killed it after. Came Messenger, and then we have Instagram. But now we understood what the problem with those platforms, and then we understand that this third wave will be better, which is Web3, because they are taking our information, our privacy, they are going to court, they're having to justify, they are getting like a monopoly and super billionaires. The billionaires are right now, it's the ones that took advantage of the Web2 wave. Correct. So we understand their problem. We're gonna fix it. So it's a matter of time and education, and I think everyone will understand, because we have a new generation coming, and the new generation, it's online, 100% online.
That's a great introduction, man. That's a great way of putting it. Sorry. I just wanted to just address Ora's example there, I guess, of an airline that only takes a Visa card, right? So this is something that isn't planned. It's not like it's not that it's not planned, but it's not technically viable just yet. But the kind of thing that will enable that is the on-chain and off-chain link. That's what needs to be perfected and built and perfected. So, for instance, our solution is to use what we call a guardian. What that would require for it to be a viable, a decentralized backend to a Visa payment, would be that Visa become a guardian, at which point you could have a private on-chain, off-chain link, because we split your blockchain address from all transactions on-chain, off-chain, and it's all based on zero knowledge, so that we can maintain trust while keeping your privacy. So it's the same way that we allow KYC to be introduced on-chain, it would also allow, I guess, in theory, us to essentially act in the same way that Binance does with its Visa cards. So Binance can provide a Visa card and back it with crypto payments because it is a trusted entity with KYC and verified individuals within it. So the same principles apply, I suppose, to a decentralized system. It just requires adoption and trust. So once you have those things, once you have an on-chain and off-chain link that is viable and adopted, I suppose that doesn't really become a barrier anymore. Right then, guys. So I think what I just want to ask a couple more questions of Petrix before we let him go. I think we've been hounding him, but I've been absolutely loving it because it's really nice to speak to a like-minded individual with a protocol that's clearly well aligned. I'll just ask maybe what's kind of in store for your users in the near future, Petrix? Do you have like a roadmap that you can kind of give us an overview of, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. We are now in the middle of our testnet. Our testnet right now, it's roughly above 13 million transactions, almost 200,000 wallets, and happening very fast. We have a new block being created every single 3 seconds. We have a very good system of validators that I can explain. Basically biased and passionate about our tokenomics and our validation node system as well, which can become another conversation for another day. But we are running to go to mainnet this year, maybe in the beginning of the Q4 or the end of this year. But we want to try to test all this full scalability that it's working. We're handling minimum 250,000 transactions a day already. We will have at least 4 projects from Web2, so this is information that I'm already disclosing. 4 real projects, existing projects with existing users from Web2 that we onboard into our hub, into our Web3, into our chain, and the users will simply update their app, and then will be on chain, and then will be verified, and then we will start to generate small transactions because of the gas fee that the proper project will pay. So we want to run everything and list by the end of the year ish. Depends on the market, of course.
So yeah, I think in that case, what I'll do is I'll just ask guys, Jon or Ore, maybe do you have any final questions before I get my last one in for Petrix?
No, actually, you just asked the question that I was going to ask, just around roadmap and stuff like that. So all set for me. Thanks.
Great to hear. Okay, do you have like any maybe alpha that you can give our current listeners regarding maybe any ongoing incentive programs or reward programs? Is there anything that our listeners can do to get involved with you right now, mate?
Okay, let me filter. Let me filter what I can do it like. So for now, we have the testnet, and we invite developers to come and check and test and find bugs or recommendations, and even like run our technology behind and see what advices or flaws they can find. We're gonna give bounties and compensations for that. But to be honest, our token supply is very scarce. We will have only 100 million tokens, when 60%, which means 60 million tokens, will be for mining. So will be mined on the validators. We're gonna have 21 super nodes, which is not much information that we are opening yet, but I can speak clearly. But we're not gonna find yet, because we have our strategy when we're gonna reveal all those informations. But all those 21 super nodes will mine the 60% of the supply. 60% of the supply will be totally mined in total around 10 years when you count per block. We're not gonna have any investors with tokens, basically, which is a great thing that I like. Investors will only buy node or a certain percentage of the node. Community can own a node, so one super node can be owned by 1, 2, 3, or 1,000 players. and the rewards and every single token that will be mined in the supernode will go proportionally to those owners, and have passive income based on the gas fees that will be generated on the supernodes as well. So every single gas fees, parts of the gas fees go to the supernode owners. So basically you generate income from mining tokens and from passive income from the gas fees that will go back to you. And then if you think about it, every single other project from different chain will have to touch and match, like a project from BSC that will come and join our hub. A project from Web2 that will come and join our hub will have to touch and match. We're going to generate hundreds and thousands and millions of transactions, we hope. We already have a roadmap and a strategy for this, and that will be a lot of passive income for those node owners, and there will no be such investor or big whale with a big amount of tokens in their hands to dump on TGE or market later, because everything will be very controlled and the inflation on point by the supernodes.
That sounds like a really innovative method of doing the supernodes. That's great. Really cool. So yeah, guys, you heard the man. I think the best way, I'll just double check. First, follow Petrix for sure, because he's a very interesting and very knowledgeable guy. But I'll just double check with you, mate. Is that I assume there's a link to match within your profile that people can click through onto?
I think so. Let me double check. Yes, there's there. Matchchain.io is the website of the company, and then yeah, you pretty much can find everything over there. And you can always DM me or via Instagram or via here or LinkedIn. I will always do my best to respond.
Perfect. Just making sure. So make sure that, guys, you are following Petrix and that you click through onto Mach Chain and follow them as well. It's clear that they are a well-aligned protocol with Galactica Network, as well as hopefully with everyone else in the listener panel. So this has been an absolutely amazing space, guys. I really appreciate everyone coming to listen, and especially to our speakers. So thank you for coming up. All right, that was absolutely amazing that you came up and asked your great questions. And I really appreciate you coming up for the first time, Jon, too. It's been great having you as well. So I'm just wondering if maybe we'll start with Jon, if you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap this up.
I'm just excited to see how you guys do it, because yeah, we've seen so many bridges get hacked. We've seen so many protocols with data get, just have issues. So I think that Cosmos is a great platform. You guys seem to have a great vision, and I'm just excited to watch and contribute as a potential partner. So looking forward to it.
Every single kind of cooperation, then there's no such a thing as written in stone that can be changed. Everything here, I think the main talent you should have in crypto is the power of adaptation. And if there's anything that we are missing, we would love to have the advice and fix and make it better. We have a good structure, we have a good technology, and then again, we are here to make crypto easier for everyone, regardless which technology or which chain you want to use, right? And maybe we should even create a dictionary for to translate all those crypto difficult terms, because ZK knowledge is still difficult. NFT is still difficult. Everything is difficult for people to understand, to onboard, and people don't like to jump on board on what they don't understand. They just skip it, right? So there's a lot of things that we should improve, and then I'm open. Mach Chain is open for every single feedback you guys have. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Petrix. And again, I couldn't agree more. There's a lot of work to be done on just the onboarding and user experience side of things. You try and get my parents, for instance, to try and understand the concept of zero knowledge cryptography. That's not a battle we're going to win. Yeah, I'd have better luck with a rock. So I think we're going to need to try and have basic fundamental concepts explained with a website that looks exactly like what they're used to in the first place. But again, trying to actually get people to understand that what's going on underneath the website is actually valuable to them is the trick, I suppose. So yeah, again, guys, I've so enjoyed this space. I just want everyone to maybe throw up a clap or 100 or a love heart, whatever you want to throw up on the emojis for Petrix from Mach Chain. He's been absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed hearing his insights and all the stuff coming from Mach Chain. So yeah, give him some love. Make sure you check on his profile, follow, and go through to Mach Chain and follow them too. I would also very much appreciate it if you could jump onto the Galactica profile. It's up here as host. Give that a follow as well. We are trying to achieve an awful lot in this space, a lot of which is very well aligned with Petrix and Mach Chain. So you can actually join in our community and get involved with us by clicking on the pinned tweet at the very top. This is our Galactica Cypher State campaign. If you're not aware, our protocol's primary value driver, I guess, is our protocol citizenship. So you can actually become a citizen to a protocol for the first time. To do that, you need your Galactica Network citizenship, and you can earn this through the Cypher State campaign. All you need to do is join us on Discord, and we'll be happy to work you through the whole process. So you'll just essentially need to do a few social contributions. There is no money transferred. You don't need to buy anything. You can get in early to Galactica Network simply by joining the Discord and actually just liking on Twitter, doing some Zeely quests, that kind of thing. Just prove to us that you are willing to put in some work socially, and we are happy to reward you with a citizenship pass. So just check out the tweet above, and we'll get you sorted. So I'd like to very much thank you guys. So thank you, Jon, thank you, Ore, and thank you, Petrix, most especially for coming on today. It's been a very insightful space. So everyone, please don't forget to follow everyone on the stage, and also don't forget to drop a like and a retweet on your way out of this space. So if you can go down to the comments below and give us a like and a retweet, it helps us get the recording out to a lot more people. We've been getting loads of people watching the recordings or listening to the recordings lately, which is massively bullish in my books. So I'm very happy to see that. So if you can give us a like and a retweet on the way out, that'd be really appreciated. And finally, and as always, I'd like to thank you all for joining us, everyone. And we really look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Into the Cypher State. I'll see you next time on next Tuesday. Have a good one, guys. See you soon.